So in today's video, we're going to be doing a review, and that is on this product here, which, as you can see, is from Multipick. This is the Multipick ELITE Tension Set 3. I don't get paid to do reviews. All opinions are my own. I'm not sponsored by Multipick. But I am particularly biased when it comes to this set, and I'll be completely honest about that before we start. So I've been using this tensioner set because it actually comes in another one of Multipick's set, which is, I think it's the Christina Palmer 40-piece set. I've done a review on this one before. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link below so you can check it out. But this tension set are the tensioners that come in this set. So I've been using those tensioners probably for months and months and months, and I've been using them almost every day. They are my go-to tensioners. So I'm going to put the case forward for this particular set being the very best tensioner set there is out there, or at least in my my experience anyway. So what we'll do is we'll get all the tensioners out. I'm going to lay them all out and just sort of show you what they all are. And then I'm going to put my case forward as to why I think this is the best tensioner set out there. So we've got our tensioners all laid out nicely. Of course, as well as these tensioners here, you get that nice leather case with the stitching and the embossed Multipick logo, which will keep this set nice and safe. So this is a 16-piece set. And what you've essentially got, apart from this one, which is the only oddball in the set, is you've got 5 different types of tensioner. And each of those 5 different types are in 3 sizes. So if you look at these ones here, we have got a 0.8, a 1mm, and a 1.3, true of this set and true of this set. So if we look again at these ones, we have got the 0.8mm, the 1mm, the 1.3, and that's exactly the same of this set here. And that means that you get used to using a particular shape, but for different keyways, of course, you've got different thicknesses. So each of the picks, if I just grab, the tensioners, if I just grab this one, I've got the Multipick logo etched on it. This is the SP27, refers to this particular tension wrench, and it's the 1.3. If we look at that one there, this one, Multipick SP31, it's the 1mm, and that one there, SP35, and the 0.8mm. So you've got your traditional bottom of the keyway L wrenches, these ones here, again etched with all of the details of the particular tension wrench and the 3 different sizes. And these are the ones that you'll get in a lot of beginner sets. You know, just the classic sort of L wrench, but of course here we've got the 3 different sizes. You've got these ones here, which are L wrenches as well, but they've got a slightly smaller return on them, and they're a lot narrower. If I compare that one there, see they're a lot narrower than those traditional bottom of the keyway tensioners. And although these can be used in the bottom of the keyway, I like to use these in the top of the keyway, and these are ones that I reach for regularly. And so with these ones here, you'd more likely associate these with top of the keyway. I've got a standard sort of top of the keyway tensioner there, double-ended. These ones are all single-ended. And you've got varying degrees of return. So if I just take the 0.8 mils of each of them, so they're single-ended, and that return comes out a little bit in that one. This is like a medium, and that one's like a long. And it's that versatility that I really like with this set. I'm going to show you why that is in the next segment. The other tension wrench that comes with this is this one here, which is designed by Christina Palmer. This one is the SP57, and it says 0.8 to 1.4. That's because the end of this one tapers. You can just see there as it goes off, it thins, and it's also at this kind of unusual angle. Now, when I first got this set and was using it, I didn't really find much of a use for this one, but it does come in invaluable, and I'll show you why in the next segment. So in order to really show you how versatile this kit is and why I think it's the best tensioners, what I've got is a whole pile of locks, and they vary from starter locks to intermediate locks and high security locks, various different keyways. I want to show you just how versatile this set is and why this pretty much covers everything. Now, it's probably worth saying that this isn't going to tension lever locks or disc detainer locks, but for pin tumblers, most pin tumblers, dimple locks, that sort of thing, this set is going to do it, and that's what most of us pick most of the time. So we'll start off with this master lock. Now, quite often people will use bottom of the keyway new pickers, and as you can see there, I've got the what we've got in there, 0.8, and yeah, I've got a short hook there, and we can get in the keyway nicely like that. But of course, we've got the option with these ones here, which I said can act as top of the keyway. So we can put that in top of the keyway just like that, and if you had particularly challenging bitting, you can use a deeper hook, then frees up the bottom of the keyway, and we can use that. Of course, we could use one of these as top of the keyway as well. Not sure that one fits in the best, that's a little bit thin. Let's grab a thicker one of those. Yeah, that sits in there really snug, as you can see, and you've got the whole bottom of the keyway to pick that, so that one's not going to be a problem. Okay, moving along, what else have we got? We've got this Euro cylinder, pretty standard keyway in the UK. Again, you can use the bottom of the keyway, which of course is the top of the keyway for a Euro. You've got plenty of room to get in there, again with a short hook just down the side there. But you can of course use the top of the keyway tensioners. I tend to use this 0.8, put it in that little bit of the keyway. I do pick Euros upside down, and I tend to sort of tension like that in the vise. So yeah, that's no problem at all. Let's look at sort of some more unusual keyways. I've got this Euro here, which as you can see is quite an unusual keyway. But once again, we've got so many different options. This one actually that I had in my hand just happens to fit in there really nicely. That locks into that top of the keyway quite well. But of course, we've still got bottom of the keyway as an option. We could probably still, yeah, we could use one of those ones there. So it just means that I think that most locks, this particular set just gives you so many different options. So moving along, what else have we got? We've got the American 1100, which is a rite of passage for many pickers, and I still enjoy picking these ones. I think I prefer one of these kind of medium, the thicker, which is the 1.3. I'll just show you how that sits in top of the keyway, and it sits in there really nicely. As you can see, they've got that little step on there. It sits into the top of the keyway, and it kind of sits flush. Just flung it away. Yeah, it sits flush with the top of the lock body, and that gives us plenty of room to get into the bottom of the keyway. And once again, of course, if you prefer bottom of the keyway, you can use one of the bottom keyways. But I also like these ones here. I don't think... Yeah, they don't quite grip, these ones. The return's not quite big enough to go in the bottom, but if you put them in the top, they sit in there quite nicely. You can pick them sort of like that. But what I like to do, particularly if I'm picking in hand, is wedge this into the top, and you've just got a really comfortable grip on it there. I find these more comfortable than the bent top of the keyways that some people using, and then that frees up the entire bottom of the keyway for a nice deep hook to get up to those pins. That's my tensioner of choice with 1100 padlocks. I've got this one here. This one came out of my Euro box, and it looks pretty standard, but if we look at that keyway, it's very, very tight at the top. Now, you can pick this all the way from the bottom of the keyway with a 15 thousandths, but I find this very problematic to tension. So let's see if we can find a tensioner that does fit in there. There we go. And that one just sits in there nicely. We've got the whole bottom of the keyway. I'm tensioning anti-clockwise on this one, which would be like that in the proper orientation, and we've got plenty of room to get in there and tension that one. I find with the standard kind of torque wrenches that I showed earlier, even the very small ones don't sit in the very top of that keyway. There's just simply not enough room. So what else are these tensioners good for? What other types of locks? One of the things, as you start getting a little bit more advanced, you'll be looking at doing things like float picking. This is an ASA 700, and quite often with these ones, let's find a tensioner that's going to fit. Let's lose a thicker one. There we go. So you'd use top of the keyway, pick from the bottom, but you need to do float picking, and float picking either requires a tension wrench that fits perfectly. You can see that one's got a little bit of play on it. Or you use a combination of different tensioners in that kind of configuration, and what that does is gives you complete control over the core. You can just see it moving there with absolutely no slop. And the configuration of the various different types of tensioners just gives you excellent choices on the various different key shapes the locks that require float picking come in. And sometimes with the old tension sets that I was using, I would find it very difficult to find a combination of tensioners that would give me that control but also allow me access to the bottom of the keyway. But these ones seem to do it really well. I've got another ASA there. This one is an ASA 600, and I wonder if that same selection of tensioners fits in there. It's a different keyway, this one. But yeah, that gives us the same control, as you can see there. Perfect control over that core and lots of room to get our hook in to pick those pins. Yeah, so this combination comes in really useful for float picking. Okay, but what else can it pick? Let's have a look at a dimple lock. So I've got a multi-lock here. Now I find that, where are they? So these wrenches here with a really long return in are great for dimple locks, and they just sit in the side like that, and that gives us plenty of room to go in, obviously with a dimple pick, and pick those pins there. And of course that comes in 3 different sizes, so there's a variety of keyways with dimple locks as with any other lock. I've got an Ultian here. Let's see how that one fits in. Yeah, that sits in there quite nicely. And that gives us plenty of room to get to those pins. So yeah, nice and versatile to pick the dimple locks. But let's have a look at some more locks. What else have we got here? I've got a wafer lock here. And if I reach for one of these small ones, that might work. No, that one doesn't work in there. Maybe one of these is going to sit in there quite nicely. Not quite long enough. He kind of gets in the way. There's got to be another one here somewhere. There we go, that sits in there quite well. And it gives us plenty of room in the keyway. So what you've got to do is when you get a particular lock, is just go through all of these tension wrenches, and I'm pretty much almost guaranteeing that you're going to find one that's going to do the job, so we can get in there and pick that one. What else have we got? Hey, this is quite an unusual one. Still got the yellow dot of shame on. I've not picked it. It's I don't know. It says Fichet, but it's not. It's Fichet because I think it's a French pump lock. I think they are. And I think it's a lever lock, and they're kind of awkward to tension because to pick them, you've got sort of levers down that one, levers down there, levers down there, levers down there. And I think if we use that unusual Christina Palmer one, and we go straight down the middle like that. There we go. So that allows us to get into all of those nooks and crannies to pick all of those levers. So that's probably a tensioner I would select. I don't know if one of these other ones would fit as well. I'll grab the thickest bottom of the keyway. I think that would do the job as well, actually. Yeah, sits in there reasonably well. Gives us access to each of those lever sections. But it doesn't stop there. We've got more. What have I got here? Medico. I think with a Medico we'd go top of the keyway to allow a hook in to rotate all those pins. So probably one of these here maybe. Yep, that sits in there nicely. Gives us, bites in really well to the top of the keyway. Gives us plenty of room to get a deeper hook down the bottom if we need to. What else have we got? So we've got a bi-lock here. I mean, look at that keyway. How do you tension that? Some people make special tensioners for these. I think in the past I've used top of the keyway wrenches like that. That one could possibly be used. Sort of wobbles about in there, but that one would do the job. Or of course we could use one of these smaller ones. That one might be too big. Let's find a smaller one. You've got to be careful on these ones, because if you put your tensioner in the wrong place, I think you can put extra stress on that middle post. But I'd probably use something like that, because we're not stressing that post. The tensioner's kind of pointing up there and levering off that the side of the sort of keyway there. So that would be good. That would allow us access to both rows of those to get it picked. Moving on, what else have we got? So this one is like a, yeah, you see all sorts of stuff going on there. I think we've got pin-in pins. It's a queso, not sure how you say it. Yellow dot of shame, not picked this one myself. It's a high pin count dimple. But what could we use in there? So we could use that one there. That gives us enough room to get to those pins. We could even, let's grab a couple of these ones here. If you wanted to use the whole bottom of that keyway, this one doesn't quite fit in the top. But I think what you can do is combine a couple of these. Something like that. Yep, that would work. And that way we've got the whole bottom of the keyway to get up to those pins if we didn't want to put something in that part of the keyway. So yeah, another option. That's pretty stiff there. I think that would work. What else have we got? Here we go. We've got a rotor lock here. Beautiful locks these. And this one has got an MT5 core in it. There, as you can see with this one, it's quite recessed. If we take what we were using to pick dimple locks, which is the longest one of these, it just doesn't quite get down there. It needs to be a little bit further. We've got this bit in the way. But of course, we have got options with this set. If I grab that unusual tensioner there, we can put that in there. The angle of this unusual tensioner means that this part here of the lock isn't a problem, and we can reach in there and pick the pins. Probably not in hand, because picking rotor locks is pretty difficult because the whole centre of the padlock spins round. But at least we've got the tensioner to get it done. I'm almost through my locks, don't worry, we're almost there. Ingersolls, I find these really difficult to tension. You need to put very strong tension on. And what would I reach for in this case? That one there fits in, but I think that would slip out. Let's look for a slightly thicker version. That one there. I think that could work quite well. That gives us access to the bottom levers as we're looking at it. We might it might get in the way, so we could possibly switch over to this one here without losing tension. Got the tension on that one, take that one out, and that gives us a better range of movement. You might even be able to pick the whole thing with that tensioner, actually. That might do the job. But once again, you've just got a myriad of options with this particular tensioner set. So there we go, that's my case for this being the best tensioner set out there. What do you think? How did I do? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, I've not used every other tension set in the world to compare this to, but I have used various different tensioners from various different suppliers. I've made my own from windshield wipers, I've made my own from bicycle spokes, and they were all good. But once I got this set, they kind of paled into the background, they blended into the background, and I pretty much now only use these ones. For 90% of the picking that I do for pin tumblers and a lot of dimple locks as well. Now, this set isn't cheap, I will say that, but it is really high quality. I've put these through a lot of pain over the years, particularly the heavy tension that you have to put on something like Ingersolls. So it is a buy once, cry once set. If you don't want to go down the route of making your own tensioners and trying different things, you could get this set and it's going to last you years and years and years. So there we go. That's my review on this 16-piece Multipick ELITE Tension Set. Set number 3 it is. If you want to go and get it. Now, Multipick were kind enough to give me a 10% off code that you can use on this kit, or indeed you can use on anything else in their shop. I don't get kickback from that, it's just something they've passed on to me so I can pass it on to you. So if you are buying something from Multipick's shop, then do use that code. But yeah, I'd really recommend this set. I've been using it daily and I can't see me running out of enthusiasm for it anytime soon. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching today. Don't forget to hit the DMAC logo up there to subscribe. And I will say as well that it's probably going to be worth you hitting subscribe and hitting the red bell notification, because in the near future I've got some giveaways coming up and you won't want to miss those. Anyway, see you on the next one.